recording. It's happening. That little
First
symbol
time
up there.
First time in weeks.
Yeah. Life kind
Sorry
of
about that.
happens.
I'll take some blame for that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Life happens. I was pretty busy too. So anyway, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of An Interview with My Best Friend. I'm Hayden, your host. It's very nice to be on the job. As you can see, I have my nice button up. I like to look professional when I'm working, and this is my first day on the job as the co-host, so I'm very excited to be here. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Joshwa here, who is going to be interviewing to be the co-host of the podcast. Unfortunately, the higher-ups, the big wigs, they had to let Josh go last week because he made the executive decision to hire me, but it was over their heads. So
I believe he was Joshwa with a W. I'm Joshua with a U.
That's right. Yeah. So we got rid of Joshwa, and now we're gonna interview Joshua.
Yes.
Is there any stress on the U? I want to make sure I'm not pronouncing that incorrectly.
It's much like how you pronounce his name. It's just Joshua.
Joshua.
But
is it okay?
You don't have to put any.
And sorry if this is too informal, but is it okay if I just call you Josh?
I prefer to go by that, so that is perfectly fine.
Oh, also, okay, awesome.
Long-time listener, very excited to be interviewed for this. I'm very excited.
Well, let's just get right into it. I have a little company written script here. We may deviate off this script. Don't even worry about it. Just relax, be yourself, and without further ado, here we go. Hello and welcome to Interview Corporation LLC. We are so glad that you have expressed interest in our company and would love to have you aboard for the ride. We here at Interview Corp LLC thrive in a fast-paced environment, and we require you to be very flexible with your availability. You are allowed 2 sick days per decade, and you can earn up to 5 paid days off per 15 years with our company. Once again, thank you so much for your interest in our organization. Now here is your interviewer, Hayden.
Well, that all seems very reasonable.
Yes, we have incredible benefits here at Interview
dental?
Corp. Dental? No, absolutely not.
Oh, of course.
I recommend watching a YouTube video and maybe getting some kind of link to like Invisalign or one of those kinds of companies. I'm sure they're all over the place. I'm sure
there's a Skillshare on how to fix your teeth.
You know what?
Just at home.
That's probably true. Or, there's another option where you just go into a dentist office near you and then they charge you an exorbitant amount of money. And if you do, I'm not sure if you do have healthcare currently, maybe you do, maybe you don't. You may have to pay a copay, but that's not really any of my concern until I hire you. So
that's fair.
Well, not me. I would never make the same mistake as Joshua from last week. What's going to happen is if this interview goes well, then Hayden and Josh, they're going to have to watch it and then they'll make a decision based on that. I can't make any decision, nor would I.
Of course. That'd be very inadvisable. I obviously.
And it would be extremely unprofessional.
Yeah, that would be incredibly unprofessional.
Like, I'm just thinking to myself personally, and I'm just thinking, who would do such a thing? Certainly nobody that I know.
Yeah, no. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for interviewing me. I appreciate this.
Of course, thank you for showing up on time, and you're very punctual. And I can already tell you have amazing posture, and I really like your hair. It's very vibrant.
Oh, thank you. It's kind of lost its luster a little bit. It was kind of blue before. You can see that it's kind of like a grayish black in a way.
Yeah, I like it. It kind of looks like an ocean.
Thank you.
But like an ocean that's being rained on.
Yeah, because it's like dark water. Yeah. I love your background, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is my house. I moved here a few years ago. It's casual. It's all it's
looks
cozy.
Familiar.
It does look strikingly familiar, yes. I'm not quite sure.
Hmm.
This is one of those generic houses that they build and they build a ton of
Yeah,
them and they
like a manufactured home. Yeah.
right. It's like one of those homes where you move in and all the furniture is already there to include the messy table with all the stuff on it.
Mm. The half burnt candles.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I move around a lot, so it was really convenient for me.
Hmm.
As I'm sure it seems that you
Oh
also live
yes,
in one of those.
I do. I do. Complete with messy table and half burnt candles.
I love it. It's really a great home. It's nice to see somebody and you look at them and you say, where they live, that's where I live, but it's not the same house, but it is the same house.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I always say.
It's a very comforting feeling.
Of course. Well, without further ado, for the second time, we're just going to get right into the questions. What are 3 strengths that you bring to the table here at Interview Corp LLC?
3 strengths. Well, first of all,
Were you like pointing at your eyebrow because that's one of your strengths? Is that what's going on? Because I
uh,
agree with you.
wow, you really picked up on that. I'm surprised. Not a lot of people are able to pick up on
Do
those
you
sort of subtleties.
do you go to like do you have like a threading stylist that does your
No,
eyebrows?
it's all natural.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely a strength.
Definitely a strength. I wasn't going to include it as one of my strengths. I was just going to kind of subtly uh, uh,
Let it speak for
bring
itself.
let it speak for itself, subtly bring attention to it, what
I'm
have
sorry.
you.
I couldn't let
Uh,
that slide. I had to address
no,
it immediately.
it is completely fine,
I
completely
was
fine.
completely floored.
Um,
I wanted to make a comment actually when I first met you, but I didn't want to come off, inappropriate or, you know, anything like that.
um, well, I would say one of my strengths would be I am good at talking
That's
sometimes.
incredibly important.
That is incredibly important for this job. I also find myself to have impeccable comedic timing, uh, which I would dare say would maybe help me in this job.
It
Uh,
could.
and and the third thing that I bring to this table is I am already friends with a man named Hayden. So
Are you
it'll be
really?
very yes. It'll be very easy to uh, talk to you because I can just imagine my friend and just boom, just be like
Well,
talking to my buddy.
exactly. It's just like I say all the time, if you have the same name as somebody, you're probably exactly the same person.
Yeah,
So, and with no exceptions at all. So that's something that I always say, and we're just gonna move right along, not address
like
that.
I like my name is Josh, so I must be exactly like Josh Hutchinson.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think you're exactly like him. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, on the converse of the last question, what are 3 weaknesses that we should be aware of? Or
Oh,
perhaps these are things that we can help you cultivate into strengths or maybe even mitigate.
well, first of all, I share a name with Josh Hutchinson.
That is,
I would say that
yeah,
that is a weakness.
I
Uh,
agree. And I've already noted that in your record. So,
uh, one of my weaknesses is I do uh, pause a lot, and in that pausing, uh, as you've noticed probably already, I interject the word a lot.
mm, I have picked up on that slightly. And I will say that that is something that we can work on as we go along. I don't really
And
see it as an obstacle.
probably my final weakness is I have a cat who has a little bell on his collar. So you might be hearing that as we record.
Now, is this little bell on the collar, is that able to be removed at all?
Not without removing the rest of the collar.
So would you be able to remove the collar?
It's very difficult to get him back into the collar.
So what if we just now, and I don't want to be crude or rude with which is just the same word without the C.
It is.
So but what if is there a possibility that we could just remove the cat entirely?
See, if you remove the cat entirely and put him in a different room, he might start to yell.
Oh, I see.
And that would be a lot worse to hear on a podcast than a little jingly jangly bell.
Perhaps
in
my
opinion.
Perhaps I wasn't as straightforward as I should have been with that question. What I really mean is there a possibility that we could get rid of the cat?
Zero possibility.
For those who are listening on audio, I just did a Kobe, as in like throwing the cat into perhaps a garbage basket or another receptacle where it is away from the podcast. Definitely not the trash. No cats were harmed in the filming of this podcast.
He's actually standing right behind the camera right now. I feel like he's about to turn his gaze upon me as if knowing what we are discussing.
Okay, but on a real note, really quickly, that's really cute, and that was totally a bit. And I would never throw Roku into a trash receptacle because I love him.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. And
those are my 3 weaknesses.
Those are not that bad. You know, the guy that we had in the seat before you, he was a mess. So
that's what I've heard from listening to previous episodes of this podcast. He definitely seemed like not a stable fellow.
Right. Yeah. I remember the editors were talking to me about it. The editors, Hayden and Josh, of course. And not the bigwigs. I'm talking about the lower level guys.
Yeah. I met them on the way in.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome guys. Their salary though, and so I'm kind of jealous.
Dare say I would say they're the backbone.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why their salary, honestly, you know, it's not like the position that we're in. Well, not to speak too preemptively about you, but just let you know you are doing
let's avoid that.
Just to let you know, you are doing very well. You're doing very well so far. I can tell that you share a lot of similarities as the last Josh, but you have just enough to set you apart to where this is going in a good direction.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
So, Josh, where do you see yourself to be in your career 5 years from now here at Interview Corp LLC?
Here? Well, I would see myself in 5 years having my own room that I can podcast in.
Okay.
That way I don't have to interrupt the day of anyone else with the podcasting. I would also see myself as, hopefully, this is a very hopeful thing that I'm looking for, but I would see myself as hopefully only doing part-time work at my day-to-day job. That way I can focus on more creative endeavors. Like I'm just about to start writing, and I would like to put more effort into that. And I also do Twitch streaming on the side, and I'd like to put more effort into that. So I see myself in 5 years moving to a more creative lifestyle than I am currently in.
Well, so let's get into that a little bit. So first of all, the fact that you want to have your own space where you can work on your craft and not bother those around you, I think that's very considerate. That's a really good quality. And also, you mentioned that you're Twitch streaming. Where do tell, can we find you on Twitch?
This is actually going to get a little ironic because I know how the last host on here spelled his name, but it is at Joshwa 58, Joshwa 58.
With the W.
Twitch. Yes.
So maybe that was a factor, you know, because I did hear the old Joshua. He would frequently express his grievances at not being able to get the proper username that he wanted. And I think it was that. I think you have that username and he wants it.
I have had some angry messages from random, just like auto-generated uh, Twitch users that I never really knew who they were, but after hearing about that, I think I can confidently say I know where those are from.
Well, we here at Interview Corp LLC, we take our employees' privacy very seriously. So if you have any issues with the old Joshua, then just go down to HR. The guys down there are great, Hayden and Josh. They're amazing, and they will set you up with a restraining order and all the right paperwork.
Perfect.
And they'll really take care of you down there. I love those
Awesome.
guys.
Good
Shout
to
out to
hear.
Hayden and Josh. You guys are great. So Josh,
1 second, just pulling down the curtain for a second.
Yeah,
I love that every employee at LLC Corp or whatever it's called, it's just named Hayden or Josh.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
it's always a pair of Hayden and Joshes.
Yeah. Could you imagine like downstairs, there's just like a desk and it's like one of those like generic like cubicles. And then it's just Hayden and Josh like sitting like across from each other, like, so Josh, did you get that NTR for me? Josh, did you get that NTR?
Huh? What? Sorry.
Josh, I need that NTR.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got that done weeks ago.
Oh, great. Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I've been fucking around playing video games all day.
Yeah, I don't really know why we have a job here because no one has any issues. Like this is such a
This is easy.
This is such a like locked tight company. I don't even know why we have an HR department. Anyway, going back to the interview. Josh, can you describe a time, maybe recent, maybe not recent, when your work was criticized?
Hasn't really been recent because I currently moved into in my day-to-day job, I currently moved into a pharmacy where I am less criticized and much more appreciated. So
That's fantastic news.
Oh, actually, and I have a couple other jobs, but
Okay.
I recently was part of the hiring process for someone, and I kind of just during the interview, I really liked the candidate. I thought they were doing a great job, and at the end of the interview, with my bosses sitting right there, we had discussed it a little bit, and they had told the candidate that they would call them in a couple days. But let me tell you, this was literally the perfect candidate for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bar none, perfect candidate. Like, nothing was wrong with them. They passed, they checked all the boxes. I was like, no, guys, we should hire them right away. And they just like glared at me. And yeah, that would probably be the last time I got reprimanded at my job, more or less, or criticized.
You know what, Josh? I got to tell you, man, I know exactly how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you're just doing an interview, you're talking to somebody, you really like vibe with them like on a deep level.
Yeah.
Like you meet somebody for the first time and it's like, wow, I think, just like off the initial vibe check, I feel like I've known this person for almost 14 years,
Mm-hmm.
That's just a random number. That's not related to anything. Definitely not.
That's what it was during this interview. It was like,
man,
holy crap. Like, just like I was enlightened by it.
I totally understand that. Well, I'm sure that, like I said, when I set up the premise to these questions, these are things that we can work on. We have an excellent training department here at Interview Corp LLC. Those guys down there, Hayden and Josh, they're amazing. They work with you to set goals. Great to hear. And they'll help you figure out milestones. And it's great. They're great guys. I love those guys.
That's good.
So if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be?
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Like you can teleport. Like what's that movie with Hayden Christensen?
Jumper.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll take away the caveat that you have to have been there before or seen it before. We'll
Yeah,
take
'cause
that
that's
away.
stupid.
Yeah, that's
Stupid.
who the
Bad
hell
writing.
came up with that? That's ridiculous. And so where where would you be right now if you could be anywhere?
Be anywhere. Hmm.
It's okay. We can edit out this dead air in the it's okay. Hayden and Josh won't see this.
Okay. Good. It would probably be if I could teleport anywhere. I
Mhm.
would teleport to Hawaii to see my best friend.
To Hawaii. Oh, your best friend lives in Hawaii.
Yes, my best friend Hayden.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That sounds
I miss him a lot, and I'd want to see him. Give him a big old hug
that's very wholesome.
because
We
I'm vaccinated and he's vaccinated, so I can give him a hug now.
That is great news. I know that that's really important. I'm sure that you haven't given him a hug in a while. So that's wow, that's a great answer. We here at Interview Corp LLC, we love to hug.
Oh, that's great news.
I
I did get a hug from the greeters, Hayden and Josh, before. That was nice. It was nice.
Those guys are so great. I love the greeters. They're there every single day. And you know what? Did you know that they get here 30 minutes before everyone else?
Really?
Just to make sure, because sometimes those big wigs, they like to come in early and they like to get at it, because honestly, I cannot name two people more driven than Hayden and Josh.
Oh, yeah.
They're just
That's
workaholics. They're
That's
just
great
workaholics.
to hear.
It's insane. These guys
I'm
are
excited
like,
to work for people who are that driven.
they are living legends, let me tell you. And I see them in the hallway, and I pass by them sometimes in between my desk where I prepare the interview questions, and
Mhm.
I actually sit next to Josh from the editing department.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I'm on my way to makeup to go see Hayden and Josh so that I can get all
Mhm.
done up for the podcast, sometimes I'll see the execs in the hallway and they just walk right up to you and they just wrap you in a big old hug.
Oh my goodness.
But,
Oh.
as cool as they are and as great as they are, they do know where to draw the line and keep it professional. And I really appreciate that about
2
them.
pats on the back and then
Yeah, you come in for the hug, maybe you go like wide angle, maybe you go under, maybe you go all over, maybe you go reverse wide angle, diagonal style. It doesn't matter. They're ready for it every single time. And
that's great to hear.
they
Better
give
than a
you
handshake.
they give you a couple of rap taps on the back to let you know that they got your back, and that's it. You just carry on with your day. It's great. I love it.
They sound absolutely delightful. I can't wait to meet them. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Look, I'm telling you, I'm rooting for you. When I interview candidates like this, I am always, I'm here to say, hey, this is your interview. This isn't about me. I'm in your corner right now. I want to provide the best quality interview for each one of the candidates that I can.
Mhm.
I will admit that you're the only candidate that we have today, but that doesn't mean anything. That's okay.
Hey, I'm gonna make it the best interview you have today.
We did have an email inquiry about the position. Somebody named Becca is applying
really?
for the position.
That would make well, I guess it's just an interview with my best friend. So I guess okay, yeah, I guess she could maybe take my spot, or the spot, if that came up.
Perhaps. We're just interviewing you first because early bird gets the worm, and you did put in your application first, so we just have to see where that goes. So with that being said, we'll just move on to the next question. What is your Josh, what is your
Favorite color?
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah. If you want to.
Orange, but no.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Let's continue.
I see
Sorry, I
you
was
have
quoting.
orange there on your sweater.
I do. It's the Eye of Sauron.
I love that. That's amazing. I also see you have the one ring text on your arm.
Yep.
I love that. Looks great.
Thank you.
No, so the original question, well, it is good to know your favorite color because we if you do get the position, we will be decorating your desk to welcome you to the company. So
Perfect.
that's actually good to know. So what I was originally going to ask though is what is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear, heights, easily.
Really?
But it's very interesting because what I mean by heights is like if I'm in a roller coaster, I'm fine.
Okay.
Because my brain is able to know, yeah, you're high, like the initial like crest of the roller coaster. It's like, yeah, you're high up now, but you're about to accelerate to 70 miles an hour and you're not going to know what's going on. It doesn't have time to process how high I am.
Yeah.
But like on like a Ferris wheel and stuff like that, especially if you stop at the top, it's being like still in a high area.
Oh, okay.
It's very it just gets the anxiety going for me.
Okay. What about like, have you ever done any hiking where you're in a high place?
Hiking, I'm mostly fine with if I feel it's very weird again because like you would think on a Ferris wheel, yeah, you're secure there. But like my brain is like,
But what if you're not?
what if you're not? Because like I am out of the control of if I'm secure or not because it's
Right.
all reliant on the machine and everything.
Yeah.
But like with heights, I am fine with that because I am in control of what my body is doing.
Right.
When
Okay.
I'm in those higher areas.
Interesting. Well, that's definitely good to know. So
I can definitely say that if we're up in a high area and I look like I can like there's like a cliff's edge or something, I'll probably still get a little dizzy from looking at that because
okay.
It's still gonna be like, oh, that's a long way down. But I won't get terrified of it. It'll just make me a little like whew, a little nauseous.
Well, with that being said, I think that we'll have to, if you do get the position, of course, we'll have to move your cubicle more inward, inside the building, because our office here at Interview Corp LLC is on the 69th floor. So it's quite tall. Yes, it is. It is pretty nice. It's an amazing view.
Yeah, that might be a bit rich for my blood to be right next to the window, but I would appreciate being moved inward if I do get the position. Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
Consideration.
We would be happy to accommodate. So going off of, I kind of want to break the mold a little bit because I feel a real opportunity here to get in deep on some hard-hitting questions.
Oh, sure.
So we've already established your favorite color. Now, and we've already established your name. So
yes, we did establish that at the beginning.
I have your name and I have your favorite color, but I'm missing one question, and that is, what is your quest?
Obviously, my quest is to be hired here.
Oh, great. Okay, well,
I honest to God thought you were going to ask what my mother's maiden name was.
Yeah, so what's your mother's name? No. What are the first what are the first 9 digits of your social security number?
The first 9 digits. Yes. Well, I can't give you those, but I can give you the last 9 digits of my social security
number. Oh,
number.
perfect. That works just fine. The computer sees it. It's like, some people are like, oh, that's apples and oranges, and our computer is just like, hey, we're just glad we got an answer. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so we already talked a little bit about this, having your office a little bit more inward, kind of away from the window, but ideally for you, what would your ideal work environment look like?
My ideal work environment would be if let's say outside of like the office, stuff like that. If like we have to work remotely for any sort of reason, I can't think of any reason that might come up.
No.
Let's say that it would probably be, like I said before, having my own room that I can just be in, that I don't have to it's like soundproofed, hopefully. That way, if I do get a little rowdy recording the podcast, I won't be disturbing anybody. And just full of LED lights that
Okay.
I can just change the color of at a whim.
Do you have experience installing LED lights?
I do.
Well, that's fantastic news. I've actually considered putting some LED lights in my office myself.
Oh, very good.
So,
worth the price of admission.
really?
And very easy. Very easy to, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a couple projects that I, have for my office, and one of them is LED lights. Another one is something that I'm very afraid to do. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share it with you. Maybe you
a disco ball?
No.
Okay.
That would be very cool. And you know what? I'm actually going to add that to my list. Where's my pen?
I'm glad I can help.
Yeah, I just added that to my list. So there we go. But also up there, and maybe, you seem like a handy guy. So maybe you can help me. Maybe I can glean some information from you on this. But I want to go up into the attic space and just see what's up there. Like, is it storage? Is it what's up there? I don't know. Here's the thing though.
Hidden treasure?
Yeah. That would be so cool.
Or maybe a secret tunnel?
Maybe like, a secret tunnel through the mountains. Yeah. So here's the thing though. I'm afraid. Like genuinely, I'm genuinely afraid to look in my attic, just because I've seen a lot of scary movies, and when people go up into their attic, there's like something there, or
I can help you out with that.
Or there's nothing there, and then there is something suddenly there.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Take a peek.
Oh, really? You would do that?
Yeah, I would do that.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Or maybe, I'd be fine doing it myself. But I think that, maybe I'd have to go over to the office and ask either Josh or Hayden if they would come like look at it with me, because I don't want to go up there alone. But if I had Hayden or Josh there with me to kind of like have my back, because one, what if I fall off the ladder? Then that could be a workplace related injury. That would be bad.
Yep.
Two, what if there is
Josh and Hayden involved?
Yeah. You'd have to have Josh and Hayden call the medical team, and then, they would have to, maybe we would need an ambulance. That would be dire. Yeah. I would hate for that to happen, but
I would just call an Uber for you.
That would be cheaper. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people do that actually. Anyways, so I could do that. Or, plus, if I do have them there, I have.
Sorry.
Are you eating the light?
Maybe.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm surprised that you didn't mention photosynthesis as one of your strengths.
I should have.
You should have. That's incredible. I was actually reading this article the other day about the digestive system, and it's like, why do humans need to eat meat? And I feel like I said that, and then like all the vegans entered the chat and they're angry. Let me clarify. Humans inherently are omnivores. You cannot deny that.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. Like,
inherently they are. That's why we have canines.
Exactly. We evolved because we ate meat. So am I saying that you need to eat meat? No. Technology and science have advanced to where we have plenty of alternatives where you can get all those nutrients and you don't have to eat meat. We've established that. So get off my case, please. What I am saying is our digestive system is so complex. Wow, this is a crazy tangent. What the fuck? Anyway,
no worry.
our digestive system is so complex because we are like really high functioning organisms and we have a brain that thinks things, and it's really cool. And in order to do all those cool things, we have to have like a really complex diet. Whereas a plant, for example, only needs photosynthesis because it's not very complex. Plants aren't out there thinking about philosophy.
Some might be.
Some might be, but most aren't. And that's why cows have a slightly less complex diet than we do. They eat plants. And that's where they get all of their nutrients. And that's because what do cows do? If I had to say, okay, they moo, they walk around, and they produce milk. And they eat. And they sleep. And aside from those 5 things, I can't really think of a whole lot that cows do that isn't derivative of one of those 5 things. So that being said, they're not that complex. So they don't need a complex digestive system. Anyway, total tangent. I don't even know why I went there.
Because I was eating sunlight.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So that brings me back to my original point, which I think it's incredible that you're able to photosynthesize. I've never met a human that has that ability.
Get all my nutrients from the sun.
Now, we'll have to figure it out, but I'm sure that we could find like an office that's more, away from the window, but also work to where you get enough sunlight, because I think that's really important. I would hate to cut off one of your primary sources of nutrients.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I must say, this is very accommodating company to be working for.
Yeah, we have so many different departments, and every single person that works here at Interview Corp LLC is just a complete gem of a person, and they really take their job seriously, and they,
every Hayden and Josh,
they're just stellar.
Lovely.
Well, it does really seem like we kind of blew right through this interview, which is not a bad thing by any means. But I do have one final question for you.
Oh, well, I'm ready for it.
And that is, Josh, what can you do for us here at Interview Corp LLC that other candidates cannot do?
Well, I only know of one other candidate. And if I were to think of things that I can do, it would be I have also had a best friend for, I would say, 14 years, whose name is Hayden. So I think I automatically relate to you very well. And yeah, I think that's what I bring to the table.
Well,
it's just my relatability.
It's kind of one of those things where, I was kind of talking about it before, and it's one of those situations where I just met you, Josh, and I feel like I've known you like most of my life, which is just crazy.
That is insane, really.
It's kind of mind-blowing, honestly. So with that being said, I am perfectly happy to submit your candidacy for this position. And, like I said before, it's going to go up to the big wigs, but, they are very busy, but I promise you they will make time for this, and they will watch this interview. And, oh, sorry. If you weren't aware already, this interview was recorded.
Oh yeah, I saw the little recording thing in the corner.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
That's been an issue with candidates in the past, and so just wanted to make sure there was no issue there. But Hayden and Josh will watch this, and then that's
we'll find out.
Then we'll find out. So we will be in touch. Thank you so much for coming to this Zoom call and for accepting this interview. And I sincerely hope to work very closely with you in the future.
You as well. Thank you so much for having me.
And for all of our viewers out there, thank you for watching, and thank you for bearing with us as we go through all these staff changes. And so if you wouldn't mind, Josh, where can people find you?
Pretty much that same handle. That is my Twitch handle on all social media sites. I really stuck it to the other Joshua, apparently. But that's where you can find me, Joshwa58, on all platforms pretty much, except for Parlor.
Oh,
Not on that one.
You're not on Parlor.
No, I'm not. I'm trying
Okay.
to avoid that one as much as I can.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad.
Constantly.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad over there. They've had some big problems.
Well, and if you don't mind me, Hayden, where might we find you?
Oh, well, that's a great question. You can find me on any social media at Hayden Ismondo. So that's pretty easy. And then if you're looking for just the podcast, you don't care about me or Josh, irrespective of ourselves, then you can find the podcast at Josh and Hayden on Twitter. And
On Twitter. I think that's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. And then
We
I'm
don't
pretty
have
sure
an
you can,
Instagram.
yeah. So actually, the podcast.
No business on the pod.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. We'll talk about this later. Anyway, I'm pretty sure on YouTube and on Anchor, you can find us at like thatgenericemail.com/AIWMB. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote tell you what, don't quote me on that, but hopefully by the time this comes out tomorrow, those will be changed. So yeah, you can find us there. So yeah, thanks again everyone for watching. I love you all and I love your faces, and that's all we have for today. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Bye.
Bye.